Today we got a lot to talk about today, man. So we gonna talk about, bro, the Trump takeover. I saw an article today I saw something on the TV today. He was like, people saying he want a dictator, but I'm not really a dictator. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's the passive aggressiveness I'm talking about right there. Ain't nobody in America ever say they wanted a dictator, right? So we're gonna talk about the Trump takeover. We gotta talk about NVIDIA. That's what the market is sitting on. We gotta talk about NVIDIA, what that is going on. We gotta talk about black wealth. Right? And there's an increasing number of black wealth that's going on in the world, right? And I think we need to highlight that, right? Martin Luther King talked about civil rights for so long, not civil rights, civil rights for so long, and that's what got him killed, assassinated. So we got to talk about that. And we got to talk about rate cuts, man. Rate cuts are actually, Jose, they're actually in this stage where we are right now. I know the market wants to see rate cuts, but I truly believe that rate cuts are gonna hurt us more than they're gonna help us. So we gotta talk about that tonight. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you send this out to somebody, y'all. Let's get the likes up, y'all. Can we get 1,000 likes tonight, man? Listen, our threshold for the last couple of weeks have been 3,500. Tonight, I want us to get above 3,500 tonight, y'all. I want us to get to that 4,000 people mark, y'all. Let's do that, y'all. Let's start hitting milestones as a family. Let's start hitting milestones as a team. Let's start hitting milestones as a squad, y'all. And what I want to do with tonight's session is, I want to get straight into the SPY. This has been interesting what we've been looking at this week, right? It's been real interesting what's going on. We talked about this last Tuesday. Let's start off, and we end in the month. Today is the 26th to 25th, I'm sorry. Am I right? Today is the what? Today is the 26th, which means we don't have, this is our last week of the month, right? So let's get into the chart right quick. Let's talk about, so first and foremost, we're gonna go to the monthly. This is what we look like. Let's take that off our screen, boom. Let's go to our monthly. We see what that monthly chart look like. So, you know, we gotta start off with that monthly. Why is this on my screen? It's looking at something else, all right? So we start off at our monthly. We looking at this candle right here. Let's just start off. That's our last candle. We see our monthly candle. So we see the month of August is 100%. It's good. Now, here's what we know about August. August, if we look at it right here, it opened up. So it opened up not higher. It actually opened up inside of the month of July, and it actually increased. So that's good. We see that it, you know, I like to see candle over candle. So it's not a candle over candle month, but it is a month that actually, if we're looking at it, from how we're supposed to look at it, actually August has actually done better than the month of July, which is interesting. We look at it from a returns perspective. So that's good. So let's get that off the screen because I don't want to look at that too much. I don't want us to get caught up on that. All right, we understand that. But then let's go to our weekly. Okay, so here's what we're looking like. Based on this, I want to say something. This is real interesting right here. So this was this is our, wait, let me get it off our screen. So this is our last week's candle. And what we can see off last week is it actually was, this is good to see. So last week, what we noticed is last week, this is interesting what we're about to say. Last week was actually a red week. And how do we know it was a red week? The reason why we know last week was a red week, y'all, is because of this right here. This wick tells us that last week was red. But we had an event last week, Thursday and Friday, which caused last week to turn green. That long wick tells us that last week was red and then it got rejected. Right? So that tells us that at some point last week, what happened? The buyer stepped in. At some week, so let's take a minute, let's think of ourselves. This is why it's important for us to understand news. What news came out last week that gave investors some confidence? Well, the Fed said, we're gonna cut some rates. What gave the market a whole new type of energy. So now, as we look at that, we go into this week. Well, here we are, sitting at Tuesday, right? Now, here's what we notice. If we open this up a little more, so we can see it, I want us to open it up a little more. I don't want nobody to be blind. And we'll open it up to make it look like it's supposed to look for y'all. All right, now here's what I want you to understand. This candle, here we are on a Tuesday, and we notice something. We notice that this week actually, while we opened here, we actually went down, which put us below this candle. But then, again, what we noticed was, what happened? Some buyers have stepped in. Now, what I want you to do is, I don't want you to get carried away right here, because we're still early in the week. And what this tells us is that there is some indecision here, right? So here's what I want you to understand. If we're looking at this chart, and I don't want to go too deep, I just want to say, looking at this candle is still a doji candle, which tells us that buyers and sellers are still fighting for control. No one has true control this week, but we see that buyers have rejected a certain price that sellers have tried to push us down to. It also tells us that sellers didn't really do their job because they couldn't push it down. Also, we can understand is right here, watch this, 3 times sellers got rejected. They got rejected the previous week here, they got rejected last week here, and so far they got rejected right here. So that means buyers are fighting. Buyers are fighting, right? Sellers keep rejecting. So now we're looking at a bigger frame. Let's get a little smaller. Boom, now we go to the daily, right? I just want to walk us through so we can see some stuff. I'm not going to stay long. I want us to get out of here, right? I want us to get off the You got a lot of information to talk about. My goal is to always make sure that we can understand some of the things that we're seeing on these charts right quick. All right, so let's get to it. All right, here we go. Now we're looking at the daily. So now that we're looking at the daily, what we're going to say is, okay, I saw what the monthly said. The monthly chart was what? Let's get a checklist together. Our checklist is going to be, the monthly chart was what? Green. Weekly chart was green, but a doji, but still green. Now we go to the daily. Now here's what's good about the daily that we see. I want you to notice something right here on this daily candle. This is going to be important right here. This is going to be good. Watch what I'm about to show you. On this daily candle, what do we have? Green. So we got 3 of those in a row. Now the next thing we're going to look at is, what is the overall trend that we in? Coming from a swing low, we don't even got to look at the whole thing. Coming from the previous swing low, which means what's the lowest part of this trend right here? Coming from this recent swing low, we're going to just do this. Wait, I'm going to take that off. All right, previous swing low, what do we know? We know that we are in a current uptrend. Not bad. We had 2, here's what we understand right here. Even though we're in a current uptrend, we just want to identify everything that we see, right? And if we can just identify everything we see we had 2 touches here on that, right? That's okay. Now, I'm going to say something. I'm not a trend line person. I'm not a diagonal trend line person. I like horizontal trend lines, right? I'm not a diagonal, and so none of my trend line people, I don't want you to get mad at me. I don't want you to fight with me or none of that. I'm just saying that diagonal trend lines can be violated more than horizontal trend lines. All right, and what I mean by that is you can get, and I'm not saying that they're not right. Let me say that. It's easy, this is going to be better. It's easier to get faked out on a diagonal trend line than it is a horizontal trend line. All right? But I'm not saying that they're not right. Right? I'm not saying that you can't beast out with diagonal trend lines. You definitely can. It can help you. And it's crazy because when you're looking at a diagonal trend line, you'll start seeing stuff touching and knowing it's an invisible line on your screen, but you like, dang, like, you start asking yourself like, did that wick know that tree line? Did that thing know that line was right there? It's an invisible line to you, the market don't really see it, but it can coincide with what you're teaching. You know what I'm saying? What you're seeing. So again, I'm not saying you can't beast out with it. I'm just saying I prefer, and every trader should have a thing that they prefer to look at. All right, so we still see that we're in an uptrend. That's good. We like that. We understand that. Now let's get into a little more detail right here. Right here we go. Detail, 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 detail. That's all we want to work on, detail. So the first thing we're going to do is let's get our all-time high marked off. Boom, we got it. We marked it off. Here we are. Boom, all-time high marked off. Let's change that from the dotted lines. Let's get us a straight line so we know we're going. All-time high is marked off. Why is that important? We need to know where the high came from. What is our highest point? We need to see that. That's important. Why? Because now we understand where the road traveled at. This tells us where we got to go at. Where do we got to go at? Remember, the market is a forward-looking mechanism, and we always want to go up. We won't go up 70% or 77% of the time. We're going to go up. So for me, I'm always saying, what has to happen for us to go back up? Right? So that's my mind. Like, what has to happen for me to go back up? Right? What do I have to do? What are some of the challenges that's in the way? What are some of the adversities that may keep me from going up? All right, so here we go. We do understand this. Currently, we see that stock today, market close today at 645 on the S&P. We got as high as 645.53. That's good. Now, we understand all-time highs right at 646. And I got a stat for you later on that's going to be really, 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 really important. Right? Let's go a little further. So here's what we know. Here's something that's really interesting right here on a day-to-day. This is going to be good. This is going to be really good. Watch this. We see, based on Friday, Monday, and today, based on these three candles, watch what I'm about to show y'all. These buyers have trapped some sellers. Okay. Based on these three candles, here's what we know. Some buyers have trapped some sellers. Okay. This is good. This is good. Also, what you see is this candle that you on right now has actually engulfed the previous candle. Okay. We just want to take it slow. We gonna move on, but I just want you to understand what's going on, because if we understand what's going on, we know. Now, watch this. Here's the thing. We see that from previous, it almost hit all-time high, but it hit all-time high here, and then sellers pushed this down. They had all the momentum. Sellers pushed that down. All the momentum, they have it. They took control. So 1, 2, 3, 4 days out of 5 days, sellers had control. They pushed it down. We understand that. But here's what's important. Here's the switch up right here that was really, really good. Here's what's really, really good. Here's what's really, really good right here. On this engulfing candle that took place Friday, this is a lot of buying pressure right here. Interest rates, the idea of rate cuts made buyers step in so strong, they came in so powerful. And the crazy part was they came in powerful that morning and then dwindled off the rest of the day. They came in at 10 o'clock that morning. 10:02 they came in and they went crazy to about 12. After that, they were like, all right, we good. They dwindled off a little bit more. We're going to show that on another candle. But here's what I want you to understand. Before Friday, watch this candle right here. The Thursday candle, I want you to look at where that Friday candle opened at. The Friday candle actually opened on top of the high of the previous day. Listen to that. Listen to that. Listen to that. Listen to that. Run it back again. The green, the candle right here where we know the buyers took over. This is important. That candle opened on top of the previous high of the day before, which tells us somebody was already itching, right? It tells us that buyers were anticipating a rate cut. Because, watch this, if they weren't anticipating a rate cut, or if the sellers were still in control, they actually would have opened up lower than yesterday, the previous day. Listen to me. Listen to me. Remember, red candles pushed down, green candles pushed up. So what happened was, that tells us that overnight, that candle actually did what's called a gap up. It did a gap up because here's what we know. Okay, and I just want us to walk through this so we can go about our business. We don't got to stay long. So if it closed right here, why am I moving that? Don't move that trap. It closed right here. And the green candle opened right here. That means it gapped up. That gap up tells us that buyers were ready to run. It tells us that buyers were ready to run. And because they were ready to run, the minute they got you know how you play 1, 2, 3, red light. 1, 2, 3, red light. Soon as they heard, red light. So they took off. That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. All right, and so then what happened was, after they took off, here's what happens though. Here's what happens. The next day, which was Monday over the weekend, what we saw was a continuation of the selling, but it wasn't a lot. It was more so of a slight exhaustion. Buyers were like, all right, we got NVIDIA earnings come up. Let's see what might take place. So now I told my trappers in the Patreon, here's what we want to do, y'all. I said, listen, the catalyst this week is NVIDIA. NVIDIA makes up 8% of the S&P, 10% of the NASDAQ. Wherever she go, that's where the market gonna go. Nobody's gonna get real excited. Nobody's gonna get real pessimistic. But every day there's a battle between buyers and sellers. But that is gonna be the catalyst that makes the market go or sink. Right? And so when we think about candle communication, here's what you know. The candle today actually trapped some sellers in. They're like, oh, y'all want to play? Y'all want to play? Y'all trying to push it down. We ain't said that yet. So some buyers stepped in again today. That's what the green candle you see. Buyers stepped in again today, and this is good. Now, here we're going to do, we're going to get a little more into it. And this is what we see. You see sort of the same thing happening, but now you just get a little bit more clarity. So now we get to the 4 hour, and now we see it. So what I told my people was, nah, this is gonna be interesting right here. This is where you get interested in this. So watch this. Because we see the all-time high is at what? 646, 640, 642. Here's what we do see. We see 2 times it hit that, came back. Which tells us we need some type of catalyst to push us above it, because if we don't, it's a good chance it'll do what? Hit it and fall back down. So let's walk through it. If we don't have a catalyst to push us above it, we'll hit it, come back down. Now, here's the dope part about that. It can come back down, and that can be the what? The retest you need to come back up. Keep in mind, September is a what? Slower month. But you have 2 catalysts that can push it forward. You have NVIDIA earnings and you have the Fed rate cut. Those are 2 powerful catalysts that can push us back to all-time high. So let me tell you what can happen right here. Here's what I think we should expect. And then I'm going to get off this. We can go about our business. Here's what I think we can expect. Watch this. Because NVIDIA makes up so much, here's what I think we can expect. If NVIDIA blows through earnings, you're going to go into what's called, I like to call, bumblebees and butterflies. You're going to come up here somewhere. You're going to find a new area. But here's what's going to happen. Don't you go chase that. Don't you go chase that. What you want to do, you want to wait till it come back down and retest the previous all-time high. You want to wait till it retests the all-time high, find support at the previous all-time high, which is 646. that would be a perfect time for you to get back in. If you want to trade the SPY, this is what I'm telling you. If NVIDIA blows through earnings, what you want to do is you let it run. But then you know for sure that it has to do what? Take a small break. It'll come back down. When it comes back down, probably around previous all-time high, because that becomes the new form of support, because that was previous what? Resistance. It comes back down. It takes a break at the previous all-time high. It gives you a confirmation candle. Say we about to get back started. That's your goal to get in. Now, you could play the continuation trade, but I'm not, I do that sometimes. I'm not going to lie. But you want to make sure, I like to get in my continuation once I see my 3 white soldiers or my 3 green soldiers, I'm going with my move. Or if I see a candle over candle open, I mean, you see one candle, I'm going to draw it on the thing. If I see a candle like this, boom, and then my next candle open above that, if I get a confirmation or a doji or something above that candle, I'm ready to go with my move. Candle over candle, right? Meaning the candle opened above the next candle. Right? But if I don't see a candle over candle, then I'm kind of like, I just put y'all into some of the stuff that I do, that I be looking for. I'm looking for my 3 white soldiers. Or I'm looking for, I like to call them 3 green soldiers for sure. I like to get my 3 green soldiers. So if I can get 2 candle over candles, not a candle in the middle of a candle over a candle. So if I get a candle over candle and the candles are still nice size, that tells me that buyers are in control. So that's what candle communication is. Your candle communication is telling you who is in control. If you can understand who is in control at the moment, then you understand how to play the game. Anytime you see some indecision, you got to say to yourself, hey, let me step back for a second. So that's what I think you should do. Now, next thing, if NVIDIA missed earnings, we got to think of this. This becomes what we want to watch for. So at that point, you want to see, does it hit that trend line? Does it hit that trend line? Because that trend line, again, I don't like the trends, so I'm going to go this way. What I'm going to look for is, what can I find? If it comes down, I'm going to ask myself, where do I see it coming down to? And for me, it's right there at 363.44. That'll put me right on top of there. That's what I would want to see. Why? Because then once we break this neck right here, if we come down to that, 637. If we break past that, all those buyers right there, land on top of there, that way why I may say, all right, bro, it's time, right? 637.23. We got a wick, we got it sitting on those two. 637.23 is where I would say, all right, yo, that's it. And if you notice something, 637.23 puts us right there. Now, and if I really wanted to be active and really, which I always do, I'm going to put my SMA up there. I'm going to go to my 20-day. Put that at 20. Boom. And I'm going to see, oh yeah. We get under my 20-day SMA, for me, I need to sit back. My 20-day, when the stock is under my 20, so all right, I'm about to go, Jose. I'm about to go. It's my fault. So these are my 2 things that tell me I need to sit my ass down. Notice the number I called out, 63.23, is right on top of my 50. So if something breaks my 50 and my 20, I know for a fact I need to chill out. If it breaks underneath my 50 and my 20, I need to chill out, because those are my 2 SMAs that let me know my stock is currently in the bull trend. If it breaks that, to me, I need to sit down. I don't need to chase. So that's what we're looking for. If it beats earnings and revenue, but not big as the market thinks, it falls down. 637.23 is what I'm chilling at on the S&P. If it breaks, it might shoot up, might fall back down to 645. You don't want to get back in it until 640, 642. That's what I got. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper. That is charting with Big Trap. Let's go. How they like that subject? How they like that, Jose? How they like that, Jose?
Nah, you was cooking on that one.
I be forgetting my time, man. All right. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right, y'all know y'all want to see the money. We're going to walk y'all through the money right quick. Let's go. All right. So his was great. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, some dope stuff happened, right? I mean, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, some dope stuff happened. Somebody say, Jose, don't pull Trap out the kitchen. All right, so the Apple call. Apple has been cooking slowly but surely. We like it. The AMAC call has been warming back up slowly but surely. Not mad at it. Costco, you a hoe. My bad. My bad. My bad. I be forgetting you here, Sean. I apologize. Okay. CrowdStrike. So here's my last time, bro. My last time with CrowdStrike. So I got the 2 September calls. CrowdStrike got earnings tomorrow. Here's my idea. Let y'all know my idea. If CrowdStrike beats earnings, I'm going to roll my calls over. We got Okada beat earnings, PALANTR beat earnings. Palo Alto beat earnings, Okada beat earnings. 2 cybersecurities. If CrowdStrike beats earnings tomorrow, I feel good about rolling it over. If it don't, I'm out of here. I'm dead and stinking, and they to the shit. Flush it. Flush it. All right. Google was a play we put in 2 weeks ago. Google has been doing really good for us, man. So Google has really been doing good. Eli Lilly got some good news out today. Skyrocketed today. I'm going to just chill with what I got. Whatever happened. That thing moving bunches. That's our Meta call. I feel good with our Meta call. I'm not mad at that. I already understand how Meta operates. We got that till January. I'm good with that. Netflix gave us some more action today. I like that. Yesterday, they gave us some action. Today, they gave us some action. Come on, Netflix. Come on, Netflix. I think the Javante thing might be on Netflix, him and Jake Paul. Come on now. I think Javante trying to get out of boxing. I think he gonna get $200 million for that fight. That's a done deal. He gone. It's a wrap. Last fight. The dude, Lamont Roach, I know you mad that he don't want to fight you, but bro, $200 million, he out of here. He gone. He young. Young man, I made 200 M's. I'm not tired. Call me what you want. I can't get a 200 M's fight none of y'all. I can't get 200 M's fighting none of y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. All right, let's go a little further. All right, NVIDIA popped us up today, right? NVIDIA went crazy. Now, let me tell you this idea that I had in my head. I may be crazy. So this NVIDIA play was up $94,000, right? I had a day where I said, I should take this 94. I didn't. When it got to 70 last week, I said, all right, I should take this 70. I didn't. It got all the way down to minus 40. But if I would have took the 70 from out of there, I would have been even.
Wait, whoa.
If I would have took the 94 from the NVIDIA the last time, I would have been even for the year.
Meaning you wouldn't be down to...
I would be even off the 1.5. Because it got to come back with, I would have cashed out on the 94, I would have had like $9,000 negative. I punched myself. I'm like, it's right now. I was right there. So if I would have cashed out on the 94, if I would have cashed out on the 94,000 when NVIDIA was up, I would have had like another $5,000 left, dog.
You gonna do that when they go back?
I don't know. Anyway, Palo Alto. All right, I think CrowdStrike gonna pull this one up. Our Palantir play. What Katie at? Get your baby daddy. Make him do what he gotta do, you hear me? Spotify, feel good about that. And then Visa. So that's what we're in right now. So I told the Patreon, there were some big catalysts in. I am looking at App Loving right now. I think that's a really good one. I've been looking at it for the last couple of days, but I needed to break something, and it broke it. And so I like that Palo Alto play. I mean, that App Lovin play. You know, Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, they just trading like tech stocks right now. I think they benefit from what's going on right now. You got to remember, when rates we'll talk about that. But I typically wanted to wait till after NVIDIA and after the CPI, PPI before I got into it, because the market wasn't really going nowhere. And we were already in enough plays. We were already in enough plays to benefit if the market popped up. So I think for me, that's a form of risk management. Like, we already in enough plays to where if the market pops up, we are already in position to get rewarded from that. And with PPI and with NVIDIA right there, and I feel like, all right, we can sit back. And then once NVIDIA does that, now we got a double catalyst. We got the catalyst for CPI, we got the catalyst for rate cuts, and then we get the NVIDIA earnings. Those are enough to carry us through. And I think if NVIDIA does what it's supposed to do, which we know they will, but it's the guidance and the beat, the type of beat they need. If they do that, that becomes the catalyst that I think takes us through September, and September might not be as bad as we think it's going to be. Let's go a little further, man. All right, then we got the Freedom Index right quick. Nope, I have not sold AJG, and I have not sold Sprouts Farmers Market. So, woe is me. Costco, still up. CrowdStrike, CVLT, Goldman Sachs, Meta, Netflix, NVIDIA, Palantir, Sprouts Farmers Market. That is our Freedom Index. Come join. Come join the Patreon, man. Come lock in with us. Come lock in with us in the Patreon. Dope group, amazing group of people. I think AMAT do got hope, bro. I think AMAT gonna be on the back of NVIDIA. We got it till December, so I think we good. NVIDIA does what it needs to do. It's gonna do what it has to do for sure. All right, NVIDIA reports tomorrow. Let's talk about it for a second before we go. Remember, makes up 8% of the S&P 500, makes up 10% of the NASDAQ. That's going to be a huge blow for the market. I think NVIDIA goes well. You see SMH go, it'll lift the whole market up. That's how much power the company actually have. Also, let's think about it like this and from this perspective, right? NVIDIA is they're now selling their brain. So they have this thing called the computer brain. They sell them for $3,400, right? It's the computer brain for something. They sell them for $3,400 now. They're also trying to get with Trump to let them sell something new to China. So I think that is a situation, man. I actually think a lot of people are buying NVIDIA products. The thing about that is, he said there's a huge demand for what they're doing. I believe him. My thing is, they have to not just beat. So you know they're going to beat earnings. You know they're going to beat revenue. It's how they beat. So you need them to bring in something like $12 billion in revenue. I think the market sees them bringing in $10 billion. Like, even if they in line, it's not going to be good enough. Even if it's in line, if it's earnings beat, so don't be excited, right? Don't be excited if you see NVIDIA beat on earnings and beat on revenue and it still sinks. Because they always beat on earnings. They always beat on revenue. It's the guidance and how they beat. It's the guidance and how they beat. You need them to probably put in about $11 billion. You need them to beat revenue by about $11 billion, and you need them to increase guidance. If they say we're gonna keep guidance what it is, and it's a solid earnings beat and a solid revenue beat, stock gonna probably fall 1%. Gonna probably fall 1%. Now, the thing about that is, what normally happens is they fall for a day or two and then pick back up about 3 to 4 days later. So Nettie said he got a turn call. Was 100%. Companies like NVIDIA, companies like Netflix, companies like Meta, companies like Apple, they can't just beat. They got to beat good and give good guidance. good ain't enough. It's kind of like LeBron. Like if LeBron ever just averaged 20 and 12, everybody gonna say he a bum. But anybody else have a 20 and 12 career, that's a really good career. So, yep. Let's go a little further, man. All right, so I wrote this down. This is a good stat that I want us to see. Watch this. Watch this. This is a good one for us, right? Watch this. These are the last, the dates, the S&P. So watch this. These are the S&P returns after the Fed has cut rates within 2% of all-time high, which is where we are now. Watch this. Watch this crazy stat. Y'all gotta love the stats that we bring to y'all. Watch this stat. And I had to write this down to get this all the way in. So the day before the cut, right? The market does, okay or whatever. On average, the next month it does pretty good, may fall, but on average you get minus 2%, median minus 0.2%. So not even a whole, like barely, it goes down. But watch this. So between the time that the Fed cut rates and in that 30-day window, we barely see any type of serious movement in the market. So you get a good hike and then it kind of like fades out. But watch this. The next 3 months, you get an average to 2.1% to 3.3% move in the market. That's big. That's almost like 1% a month. Watch this. The next 6 months, you get on average 3.8% to 6.0%, about 75% of the time. So that means this. After the Fed cut rates, the first month, you probably get nothing major. The following 3 months after, you get anywhere between 2.1% return or 3.3% return. So that's if they cut in September, probably October, you'd be like, but November, December, boom. Watch this though. The next 6 months, you get 3.8% to 6%, which means it done doubled down. Within the next year, you get anywhere between 13.9 to 9%, 100% of the time. And the last date of that is September 18th, 2024. 2024, 2019, 2018. That's within 2% of the all-time high. Hey, Matthew, fix your tone, family. Hey, Matthew, fix your tone, family. Don't talk like that in our chat, bro. Like, we all adults up in here, bro. Fix your tone, man. Fix your tone. Don't do that. Be courteous, bro. You know what I'm saying? Be courteous, bro. It's the way you say that. Hey, bro, you see everybody saying, hey, bro, something, you know what I'm saying? You go in and go out. Watch your tone in here, bro. Be telling, my people working hard as they can. It ain't always us. You see people saying go in and go out. Fix your tone, man. Don't do that. Come on, man. We family up in here, man. Be respectful. Be respectful. Let's operate with a sense of integrity, sense of class. You know what I'm saying? Just refresh it. You know what I'm saying? All right. So what I'm saying to you is this. Yeah, it's all good, family. It's all good. Yeah, let's just, we doing what we can. That's the thing about having a live show. Sometimes there's technical difficulties that we can fix, and then, my team on it, but sometimes you just go in and go out. But we good. It's all love. All right. So watch this. That tells us this, y'all. When the Fed cut rates, we can expect a what? Slight pullback, which is probably a profit-taking situation. But then what we know is that is probably the most perfect time to position yourself. I'm gonna say it again. That's probably the perfect time for you to position yourself when it pulled back a little bit. Let's go a little further. Right? Let's go a little further. Watch this. Now, the Fed has two jobs. The first job that the Fed has is called a dual mandate. The Fed got two jobs. One, price stability. The Federal Reserve's goal of price stability means keeping inflation low and predictable over time. Stable inflation around 2% annually helps preserve the value of money, allowing consumers and businesses to plan, save, borrow, and invest with confidence. When inflation is high, purchasing power erodes and economic decisions become riskier. By targeting a 2% average inflation rate, the Fed aims to support long-term economic efficiency. Now, you got to think about this. Let's go a little further. Price stability. The next mandate they have is maximum unemployment, meaning they want people to be working. The Fed's goal of maximum employment means sustaining the highest level of employment the economy can handle over time. Since this level shifts according with factors like demographics and market conditions, the Fed doesn't set a fixed target. Instead, it monitors the broad range of labor data to guide policies to promote strong, inclusive job growth. Now, I want you to think about something right quick. Here's the impact of the Fed cutting, right? Watch this. Gold, silver, and Bitcoin are all affected by this. Now, let's talk about this. Here's what happened when the Fed cuts rates. When the Fed cuts rate, it actually weakens the dollar. If you go look, the day that the Fed said we are cutting rates, the dollar dropped, and it dropped hard. But what went up? Bitcoin went up, gold went up, silver went up, assets went up. Why? Because now the market is thinking, hey, free money is on the way. Okay, let's go a little bit further. Right? Bond yields also came down. One of the things y'all know that I'm a fan of telling us to watch, whether you're in the Patreon or whether you're in Trappers Anonymous, I always tell y'all, let's watch the 10-year. Every day we need to watch that 10-year. We noticed that 10-year came down, right? So that's important too. So the next thing that happens is we have a problem. Why do we have a problem, y'all? Because, watch this, if they cut rates, that means rich people gonna do what? Get more money. Borrow more money. It becomes cheaper to borrow money. This is why Goldman Sachs, this is why JP Morgan, in a low rate environment, banks are a good investment. I don't think they caught that. In a lower rate environment, banks become the best investment. Why do banks become the best investment? Well, one of the best investments. You know why? Because they get to give away money for free. Who wants more money when interest rates are low? Not poor people, rich people. You know why? We talked about something early in the show. What did we talk about? Leveraging the sleever bar. See how we bring that back around? Leveraging the sleever bar. So that is what they're going to do. They're going to borrow money. What are they going to borrow money to do? Build businesses and do what? Get assets. So what happens? The poor people get poorer. You know why? Because we don't know how to leverage the money the right way. So you got to buy assets. You know why? Because watch this, as they cut rates, what happens? The power of your dollar lose what? Value. The power of your dollar lose value. So now that means what? The Fed gonna also do what? Put more money in the system. That's gonna do what? Increase that you need more money to buy stuff. Let's go a little further, man.
Hey, what it do, Trap? Should put Malik. Salute to all the trappers. Thank you, Jose, for taking my question. My question today is, I know the Fed is separate, independent from the government. So why is it that the president picks who the next Fed chair should be? I would assume he'll pick somebody who's in line with what he wants to achieve during his term as being president. Why is it that the president picked who the next Fed chair should be? And why isn't it somebody else or even the previous Fed chair or current Fed chair, I should say? Thank you.
I got something for you, Malik. Watch this.
Can the president fire you?
Well, the law is clear that I have a 4-year term, and I fully intend to serve it.
So no, in your view.
No.
How independent is the Fed? Who do you answer to?
We are directed to execute policy in a strictly non-political way, serving all Americans. And that's what we do. We are independent in that sense. Our decisions on rates can't be reversed by any other part of government.
Now, Jerome, here's what we want to say. We said something a couple weeks ago that was really, really important. You know what we said? Jerome can't be fired. Let's go a little further into that. Because that makes sense. Now, what we do know is we have a president, and I keep saying this. Every time we keep saying what he can't do, what he do. He do what we keep saying he can't do. So this is going to be important, though, because he's already fired one person. He made one person resign, and now he's fired this black woman from the Fed. He's been threatening to fire Jerome Powell so many times, right? But the reason why this is important, y'all, and I need y'all to understand this, because this is this. If he fires her, now she's going to fight him. She's going to sue him. This is going to go to the Supreme Court for sure. Here's what's going to happen, though. You know what I like about Jerome, too? When Trump tried to read that stuff out on Jerome, like, Jerome put his glasses on. Jerome said, that ain't right. You tripping. Jerome said, nah, that's old. That ain't no way. And then Trump said, yeah, but they gave me that. Well, that's wrong. That ain't no $2 billion here. You tripping. So Malik, here's the thing though. The president, when the president does pick a Fed, he practically wants to pick somebody who's going to be in favor of what he does, right? That's how I go. But what happens is, because the Fed is an independent agency or entity, they're not supposed to be controlled by the government. And what you have noticed is Jerome has actually been working against Trump, right? But I will say this, I do not think we need to have a rate cut right now. And here's why. Because we had that CPI data came out that was pretty decent, but we had PPI data that came out that said it was high. It was actually double what it was supposed to be. And then if you go back and think about it, we only added 73,000 jobs. That was bad. So that tells us labor is not right. That tells us inflation could be high. This could be interesting. And if the Fed also gets into quantitative easing where they put money in there because the Fed's balance sheet is good, this is why we need to start listening to what's going on. This is why we need to start listening. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm a stock person. I'm not tripping. I love it. But cutting rates in September, which we have an 89% chance of cutting rates, and I wrote this down because I want us to pay attention to it. We have an 89% chance of a rate cut. We don't have it until it is September 17th. We have more labor data that comes out before that. If we get a rate cut, which is an 89% chance, then we have another one in October. They're saying we can at least get 2 rate cuts this year, which put us at 0.5%. I'm telling y'all, it is going to be a problem with your money. And you don't see it all at once, but something that used to cost, whatever, now it's going to take more, you're going to see a problem with that. So definitely you're going to have to pay attention to y'all money. Let's go a little further. All right, so I had this data for y'all that I really want y'all to see. The king of travel, which is bookings.com. I know you like, Trap, why the hell are you bringing these up? Because I have been watching this company for so long, but for some reason, I just refuse to drop $5,000 on this company. I saw this company when it was about $3,500, and I've watched it just go crazy. Watch this. Year to date, the company's up 14%, punishing the S&P 500, $700 this year, right? Over the last year, watch this, up 48%. $1,800 between this time last year. From this point year over year. So from this date last year to now is up $1,800. But watch this, 5 years, 216%, $3,898, yo, in the 5 years. Man, flush me for not buying this goddamn stock. Flush me. Flush me. Flush me. Flush me. You know why? Because I'm telling you, bro, and I'm not lying to you, bro, the stock was $3,500. Like, you know what? Like, I need to buy this stock, man. I need to buy this stock. I'm telling you right now, if you're in the Patreon, if you're on Trappers Anonymous, whatever you're on, the next time that this stock goes on sale, I'm telling you, I'm buying it. I don't care what y'all talking about. Man, Trap, I ain't got no money to buy that. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm going to buy this stock because this stock just print money. It print money. It just print money, bro. Every time, bro. Every time, bro. Every time, bro. Look at this. Look at this. Bookings. 518 million bookings, yo. The closest thing to them is TripAdvisor at 133 million. Airbnb, 94 billion. Trip.com, it's blowing people out the water. Expedia, you way at the bottom. Bookings.com, fam. Two years I let this stock pass me by. 2 years. Flush me again, man. For not buying bookings.com.
She keeps on passing me by.
Flush me again for not buying bookings.com, bro. That's asinine. It's asinine. Let's go a little further, man. Every time somebody book a flight, I'm gonna say, bro, 518 million flights, the most visited travel website in the world in July 25. 518 million times, bro. Great fundamental company. Flush me again, man. Flush me again.
You ever used them?
Huh?
You ever used them?
Nope. Well, hotels.com. But you might don't use them. You might don't use them, but you can also use the things that's under them.
Yeah.
You use the ones that's under them.
I had to think. I was like, was I using them?
Let me see something. Watch this. I'm about to pull it up right quick. So the companies that are under bookings.com, Priceline, Kayak, Rental Cars, Open Table, Subplan, Rocket Miles, Fair Harbor, Hotels Combined, Cheap Flights, Mamado. That's it. That's what's under them. That's what's under them. You ever use Priceline, Agoda, that's in Singapore, Kayak, Open Table, and Travel Jigsaw. You ever use Travel Jigsaw?
Mm-mm.
You ever use Open Table?
Open Table, yeah.
Open Table? Open Table? What about Kayak.com? I've used Kayak before.
They tried to. You know what I'm
I've
saying?
used Kayak before.
Be there.
I've used Kayak before.
Pop-ups.
I've used Kayak before. Man, flush me again for not using Booking.com. Man.
Nah, you know what's crazy? I was just thinking like how often I will see even the commercials. I see them, but I always think about the Expedia.com.
And they're not even at Bookings.com. They the big dog, bro.
Dang.
They the big dog.
That's good.
Flush Jose, man. Flush Jose. Flush Jose. Flush Jose for talking about Expedia. Let's go a little further, man. What we got, man? God damn, Jose, we slipping. All right, so watch this, man. Robinhood loses again, bro. So this one was tough. I'm not gonna lie, because Robinhood has been getting, they've been getting bamboozled, bro. They've been getting bamboozled. They've been getting bamboozled every time. Every time it comes to this. So here's what happened. Robinhood is up, I think, 173% in the last maybe year or something. Interactive Brokers about 38% in the last. But what happens is Interactive Brokers is a boring company. But Walgreens got kicked out of the S&P 500. It's the third time that Robinhood was supposed to get added to the S&P 500, and they did. And a company like Interactive Brokers, which is a company that I love, by the way, let me just say that. Boring company, get money, right? Great chart. Not as great as Robinhood over the last 2 years. Solid though, great returns, but just not Robinhood. Robinhood, I said it 3 weeks ago, I'll go on there. I think Robinhood is I think that's why I pulled back today. I think the all-time high is at 117. If I can get Robinhood back to 110, I'm gone. Ashley said, Flush Jose again for he texting ass trying to make her take up for him.
I didn't even text her. And she gave a super chat.
Flush Jose again for him texting ass. He's like, oh no, why Trap keep flushing me? Flush him again. Flush him again. But if Robin can get back on top of 110, I kind of like it. You know what I'm saying? I like it if you get back on top of 110, I like it going back to 117. I think it could pull back to maybe like 112. It definitely been in the shitter since it had earnings, but it did a pretty good earnings and it came back down. But yep, like Robinhood, I like interactive brokers too. I just don't know what it's gonna take. You know, the S&P is one of those, what you call that? The good old boys club. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a young rippersnapper. And we ain't forgot what you did during the pandemic, Robinhood. We ain't forgot that you took all them people money. I ain't forgot that you took all them people money. Them people was up big. You took them people money. Them people had a way out. That lady, next slide, man. Next slide. Trap of the week, let's get into it, man. So this is one of my personal favorite. This is my second favorite black man of all time. First favorite black man of all time is Malcolm X. Second favorite black man of all time is definitely Fred Hampton, man. Fred Hampton was a fearless young leader who rose to prominence as the chairman of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party in 1960. At just 21, he united marginalized groups through his visionary Rainbow Coalition, brigading racial and class divides to fight systemic race oppression. Hampton's charisma, intellect, and unwavering commitment to justice made him a powerful force in the civil rights movement. He championed free breakfast program, community clinics, and political education, empowering the poor and challenging the status quo. Hampton's revolutionary spirit and radical compassion threatened entrenched power structures, leading to an assassination in 1969. Police raided, widely viewed as orchestrated by the FBI. Man, long live Chapman. Y'all know that, man. He is tattooed on my back. Man, when I think about Fred Hampton, I think I've watched Judas and the Black Messiah probably 100 times. I probably watch it, if I'm being honest with you, I might watch it once a month. And this is no exaggerating. I love that movie, bruh. I watch his speeches all the time. To be 21 years old and have that type of energy, charisma, power, I think that there's a spirit that people like him leave. I think there's a spirit that people like him leave on the earth. And I think that when you mission driven, you have to channel people like that. Again, I would never try to compare what I am to a man like that. But I will say I'm always inspired by him. I'm always inspired by any time that you can be a force. I think that men like him were so dangerous because of the intellect and because of the ability to not back down. Let's go through our video.
At just 21 years old, Fred Hampton was a revolutionary, a powerful speaker, and a unifier who built a movement that struck fear into those in power. As chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party, he fought for justice, fed the hungry, and united oppressed communities across racial lines. But his influence made him a target. On December 4th, 1969, the government silenced him, but they could never silence his message. Fred Hampton was born on August 30th, 1948, in Summit, Illinois, and raised in the working-class suburb of Maywood, just outside of Chicago. Even as a child, he showed leadership qualities, questioning injustice and organizing his peers. At Proviso East High School, he led protests for black representation, successfully pushing for an integrated homecoming court and a summer jobs program for black youth. He was determined to fight for change, even when the system resisted. After high school, Hampton attended Triton Junior College, studying pre-law with dreams of defending black communities in court. But his calling wasn't in the legal system. It was in the streets, with the people. By 1968, he had joined the Black Panther Party and quickly became chairman of the Illinois chapter. His message was clear. The power was in the hands of the people, and together, they could change the system.
Bobby Steele is going through all types of physical and mental torture. But that's all right, because we said even before this happened, and we're going to say it after this, and after I'm locked up, and after everybody's locked up, that you can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail a revolution. Right. You might run a liberator like Harris Cleave out the country, but you can't run liberation out the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting. And if you do, you come up with answers that don't answer, explanations that don't explain. You come up with conclusions that don't conclude. And you come up with people that you thought should be acting like pigs, that's acting like people and moving on pigs. And that's what we've got to do. So we're going to see about Bobby, regardless of what these people think we should do. Because school is not important and work is not important. Nothing's more important than stopping fascism, because fascism will stop us all.
Unlike the media's portrayal, the Black Panther Party was not about violence. It was about empowerment. Under Fred Hampton's leadership, the Illinois chapter launched community programs that provided free breakfast for thousands of children, free healthcare clinics, and political education classes. But Hampton's vision extended beyond the black community. He knew that oppression wasn't just about race. It was about class, capitalism, and power. He created the Rainbow Coalition, an unprecedented alliance between black, Latino, and poor white communities, including the Young Lords and the Young Patriots. Together, they stood against police brutality, poverty, and systematic oppression. Fred Hampton was one of the most electrifying speakers of his time. His words ignited crowds, empowering people to believe in their own strength.
Everything would be all right if everything was put back in the hands of the people. And we're going to have to put it back in the hands of the people. Everybody in the state of Illinois is going to have to be involved or even around the revolution, because we're going to have one. We're going to have to do more than talk. We're going to have to do more than listen. We're going to even have to do more than learn. We're going to have to start practicing, and that's very hard. We got to start learning, and you learn through practice. We got to start making mistakes, and you learn through making mistakes. We got to start getting out there with the people. And a lot of times we think we're better than the people, but that's an insult, and that's criminal. Think you're better than the people. We got to get together and learn where it's at. It's going to take a lot of hard work.
The government didn't see Hampton as a leader. They saw him as a threat. By 1969, the FBI had declared the Black Panther Party the greatest threat to the internal security of the United States. Under COINTELPRO, J. Edgar Hoover ordered federal agents to infiltrate, discredit, and destroy the movement. And at the top of their list was Fred Hampton. The FBI recruited an informant, William O'Neill, who infiltrated the Black Panthers and became Hampton's personal security chief. O'Neill provided the FBI with detailed layouts of Hampton's apartment, including the exact location of his bedroom. Then, in the early morning hours of December 4th, 1969, the government made their move. At 4:30 a.m., Chicago police stormed Fred Hampton's apartment with no warning. More than 90 bullets were fired, most from the police. Hampton, who had been drugged the night before, never even had the chance to wake up. He was shot multiple times in his bed. Mark Clark, another Panther leader, was also killed. The police claimed there had been a shootout, but later investigations proved that only one shot came from inside the apartment, while dozens of police bullets riddled the walls.
I said, I remember seeing sparks of light coming like across the doorway to the bedroom. The person that was in the room with us said, stop shooting, we have a pregnant woman in here. Eventually the shooting stopped and we were coming out. I was in front of the person that had came in the room to wake Fred up. And we had our hands up. And then they started shooting again. And I just knew they wanted to kill us. And one of the police grabbed me by the hair And they opened my robe. I was 9 months pregnant. They said, what do you know? We got a broad here. And they pulled me by the hair and pushed me through the line of police and pushed me into the kitchen area. I think the shooting started back again. And I heard somebody call from the area in front of the kitchen area. He's barely alive. He'll barely make it. Shooting started again. I heard a male voice again say, he's good and dead now. My mind, I kept reciting a 10-point program in my mind because I didn't want to focus in on what was happening. Because I just knew that they wanted to just kill us.
I knew that indirectly I had contributed, and I felt it, and I felt bad about it. And then I got mad. You know, I had, and then I had to conceal those feelings, which made it worse. I couldn't say anything. I just had to continue to play the role.
Fred Hampton was just 21 years old. He was more than a man. He was an entire movement. And while they took his life, they could never kill his revolution. His community program set a model for grassroots activism that still exists today. His fight for justice continues through his son, Fred Hampton Jr., and the activists he inspired. Fred Hampton once said, "You can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution." More than 50 years later, his words remain true. His voice, his vision, and his fight live on.
And that's what the Black Panther Party, a lot of people say we're violent. We're a self-defense organization that believes that the people should be educated to what's going on. Yes, we do defend our offices and we do defend our homes. This is a constitutional right. Everybody has. There's nothing funny about that. The only reason they get mad at the Black Panther Party when they do it is for the simple reason that we're political. And they don't want to admit this. There are a lot of young organizations around, but we're a political organization. We're an organization that understands that politics is nothing but war without bloodshed, and war is nothing but politics with bloodshed. That it's just like you stretch something. And it goes, you can stretch things, they'll go into being another thing. If you stretch politics so long, it'll be war. And that's where we're at.
Say, bro, every time, and that ain't nothing new, but I probably done read, bro, like, I'm not gonna lie. I probably read every book I could read on Fred Hampton. I probably looked at every, Fred Hampton and Malcolm X, I will probably argue with you about anything about them two men life, bro. I've read that much about them, and bro, I still be almost in tears every time cause in my mind, I'm like, bruh.
21.
20. Bro, and he had that fire, bruh. Intelligent, he had that fire, bruh. And it just always get me, bruh. It always get me, bro. Like when I was in prison, bro, like I used to read about Fred. So it's three men. Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, George Jackson. Them three black men right there, bro, every time. I used to read about them so much. A book called Blood in My Eyes, another book called A Soledad Brother. That's about George Jackson. He had a little brother named Jonathan Jackson. His little brother ran into the courtroom, bro. His little brother ran into the courtroom and kidnapped the judge. Like, come up out of here. They shot him down. Fred Hampton, George Jackson, Malcolm X, my favorite three black men of all time, bro.
You might not even remember this. I talk about it a couple times. I remember we were sitting in the kitchen. We were talking about, Network, Trapper Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
And you was talking about them. And when you said, hey, bro.
Hey, man, don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm just saying.
No, don't say that. We got a lot of work to do.
Hey,
but
I'm just saying.
For
like,
sure. That's how, and I still feel like that.
And I was like, all right, let's rock.
You can't never, because what happens is, bro, like, he said something that was powerful. He said, the minute you think you better than the people is the minute you lose the people. That's what Fred Hampton said. You just heard him say it. He said, the minute you think you better than the people is the minute you lose the people, bro. And so a lot of times you always be like, bro, or when people around be like, bro, like, why you do this or why you do that? I'm like, bro, I will never be better than the people. Money don't make you better than the people. Clothes don't make you better than the people. A watch on your wrist don't make you. You ain't noticed something about me lately? I don't even wear the Rolex no more, dog. I don't wear that chain no more. None of that, bro. The minute you think it's been a couple months now. The minute you think you better than the people is the minute you lose the reason why you started. That's why I say, yo, I went to stock market in the street and I felt it again. It's because, bro, like, I saw dudes that was like, say, trap. Psst. Yeah, bro. I just come home. I've been listening to y'all in the pen for 2 years. Look, one of the dudes said, dog, he said, my partner, I was in the pen, my partner in the pen put me on you in the pen. I just come home and, bro, this is crazy. I gotta take a picture because I gotta show him that I was with you. So when I, hear people like, I watch it. I'll probably go home and watch this tonight. I'll probably go home and watch either this or The Spook That Sat by the Door. A lot of people don't know about that movie. That's a good-ass movie. I watched that movie like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I read the book and I looked at the movie. It's phenomenal. It's about the dude who learned about the military, went to the military, went to the CIA, learned everything from them, then got in the hood and taught us military tactics. Oh, it's good.
I ain't seen it. I gotta
Spook That Sat by the Door. It's it's so dope, dog. But and that's why a lot of stuff don't bother me. It's because I think that at the end of the day, bro, you gotta think about this, bro. This is just how I personally feel. All the money in the world don't give you fulfillment. If it did, why you think so many millionaires be killing themselves? Because at some point, you can only buy so much shit. And you start to realize, this ain't gonna fill me up. So I'll be honest, bro, like, I remember my first $1 million, I was like, yup. Then I made a second $1 million, I was like, all right, bet. And then, you buy the Bentley truck and you buy the Rolexes and you be like, bro, this shit is, all right, I got it out of my system, now what? You know what I'm saying? All right, I ain't broke no more. All right, bet. Where the purpose coming?
Purpose.
Why did I start this thing? Why did I used to keep cuz up all night? Why I used to be in the hood talking to my homies about this and showing them this? That's the thing and I remember I heard somebody say, purpose is the thing you would do even if you ain't had no money. And it made me remember when I was in the streets hustling, I ain't care about no money. I was trying to get my niggas out the street like, nigga, they gonna change our life, cuz. Bro, if you go to jail, bro, I remember telling my partner, bro, I remember this vividly. We was in the club, bro, we sitting on the sofa, and he got a bottle in hand. At this time, I used to drink Grey Goose. And I say, bro, and we was fresh. I got some Fendi's on, he got some Louis Vuitton on. I'm looking, I say, bro, this is some stupid shit right here. And he said, man, what you talking about, bro? I say, bro, check this out. All this on the stock market. I say, all this on the stock market and we don't own none of it. And I remember telling them this distinctively. I said, bro, they just upsold us 300% on this bottle. I said, the same bottle in a gas station don't cost that much. When we come into the club and we pay $300 for the bottle that cost $40 in a gas station, bro. I said, we lit because we got the bottles, but they upselling us on the bottles in the club. I said, then we got all this on. Cool, we fresh, but we don't even own it. And then the thing about it is, once we wear this, we so messed up in the head, we don't want to wear it again. Now, we'll play the shoes again, but you even watching when you play the shoes again. I was like, bro, this ain't it. And this was when I was still in the street though, but you still going, you just had these little moments in your life where you go through and you be like, bro, so now when you get to a certain level financially, which I understand that it's easy for you to say talk about money because now you got money. Nigga, I'm still in the struggle. I'm still trying to get the money. So my thing is always, all right, let me help you fix the money problem so we can fix the other stuff you got going on. Like, let me help you get the money out the market. So once you realize you can make 100,000, once you realize you can make 50,000, now you already know how to make money. So now the money issue is not a problem. Let's go deal with the other issues you got. Let's go deal with man, somebody asked me the other day, bro, like, I think Terry asked me, she said, what's the biggest risk you ever took in your life that you think paid off now? And I said, the biggest risk I ever took in my life that paid off now is me leaving the street and forcing myself not to go back. That was the biggest risk I ever take because my whole identity was tied to me being in the street. I didn't think I was better than, I didn't think I was able to do this and do that. I'm like, bro, I'm a street nigga, I'm a die street nigga. That's how everybody else die. I'm good. Even though I'm scared as hell of death. You know what I'm saying? But you was scared as hell, but you like, hey, this how I'm gonna die. So you don't care about it. You say shit like, I'm gonna die anyway. That's the type of shit you start adapting that type of mindset. So then you start walking into shit you know can kill you and you like, I ain't tripping because I'm gonna die anyway. You don't see yourself in a bigger light. So let's get the money out the way so you can start saying, hey, I deserve to live. Let's get the money out the way so you can start saying, hey, bro, I don't need to shoot that man right there because I don't even much want to go to prison, bro. You know what I'm saying? I remember being in the streets, bro. When I knew the streets wasn't for me no more is when me and my nigga hit a lick, bro, and I thought about the consequences afterwards. I say, nigga. I say, hey, bro, you know what we just did? I said, hey, you know about to come behind us? He was like, nigga, that come with it. I said, oh, man, I'm tripping. In my mind, now here's the thing. I couldn't tell my nigga this. Like, nigga, I'm tired of shooting out, nigga. I don't want walk out my house thinking I'm about to go do something and nigga catch me off guard. And that's a done. I don't want, and then my partner Reddy from across the river, nigga had just stood over him and hit him up. I'm like, bro, I don't want that. So the thing you know about the street is, once you start thinking about the consequences, you know it's time to get out. So this ain't me perpetrating. Anybody in the street understand this. Once you start thinking about the consequences, and once you start putting it like, man, I might go to jail, man, I might gotta shoot somebody, man, I might get shot. It's time for you to get on the sidewalk. You don't belong in the street no more. You belong on the sidewalk. Because you're gonna get yourself killed. Go get on the sidewalk. Get out. Because what's gonna happen is now you thinking about everything and you don't got the same type of, cuz I tell you, bro, I'll call cousin and be like, hey, I'm gonna do pop, 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 pop. What you gonna do? And he gonna come depending on where his pocket's at in the moment. If his pocket's good, he like, I'm on the turnaround, cuz I ain't fucking with it. I'm working these 712s, cuz I ain't messing with it. Hit him back like 3 more months. Hey, cuz, I'm about to probably get about 40 out of that. I give you 10. I keep 30. I'm about to go do these 712s, but I'm straight, cuz. All right, cool, I respect that. But if I catch him when he in between work, I'm about to come holler at you. If I catch him in between turnarounds, he come and ride. But here's the thing. It was second nature. It's second nature. I see it, I analyze it, ski mask it, we gone. I need to do we good. But the minute you start saying, hey, if this don't go right, I can go to jail, it's time to go. Because just like a lion don't think about killing, the lion don't think about being a predator. A predator is in his nature. The minute the lion start worrying about the hyenas, the minute the lion lose the superiority in the safari. Let's go. Next thing, my bad. I apologize for the rant.
Hey, what up, Trap? It's your boy Rob, aka Pills Boy in the chat. See, we trapping out the hospital right now, you dig? But first and foremost, man, I just want to give a big thanks and shout out to you and your team for everything that y'all continue to do for us, man. I just want to say that we are very blessed to be a recipient of the knowledge that you continue to provide us on a daily basis, man. So thank you so much for that, brother. My question to you is, Trap, as you continue to dive into your technical analysis bag, I know you got a lot of tricks up your sleeve and a lot of tools at your availability to use, but specifically, I haven't heard you talk about volume yet. So I just wanted to know specifically when it comes to your trading approach and your trading strategy, how does volume play a role in your ability to take on a play or not take on a play? Appreciate you for answering my question. Shout out to the Patreon, you know.
Say, Pillsbury. Say, don't call here with that voice no more, dog. I love you like a brother, but don't call here with that voice no more, bro. You hear me? Oh, Casanova. Oh, Casanova.
What's going on, Trap?
My dog coming like, yeah, Trap, you hear me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your, yeah, you know? Yeah, you know? What's your, I ain't never heard you talk about volume, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know? And, you know, I know you got a lot of tricks up your sleeve, you know what I'm saying? Say it, say it. Say, my dog, don't call it like that no more. Yeah. Go ahead on, beef that thing up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's that? A trap? You know what I'm talking about? Nah. So that's a great question, man. So I definitely be using the vibe. I need to start speaking on it. It is something that's important to me, but I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I will overlook it. But it is important to me. I do pay attention to it, especially when I'm looking at buying pressure or selling pressure. It's one of the stages on my list, but I will say I have, you know, I'm not consistent with like paying as much attention to it, and I need to. I be so locked in on the market structure. I be so locked in on, you know, my support and resistance and my supply and demand zones. I do sometimes slip on it, but it should be a key because it tells you another story. It actually helps you understand where the pressure is. It helps you understand, especially if you start understanding what that daily average volume is. If you start understanding stuff like that, it can really be a critical. Even when you see like when you may see like a spike in the market, but the buying pressure is not high, that volume is not high, that can be a thing to say, wait, hold up, what was that? You know what I'm saying? So that volume is definitely key, King, I'm not gonna lie. And you saying it is a confirmation to me that I really need to dig, like really pay more attention to it. So that's a good question, King, that's a good question. Let's go a little further. All right, so can Trump really fire Lisa Cook? So again, he's done it. And again, you know, what we have to realize and we have to come to the realization is, and I wrote this down in my notes because I was looking at what we had going forward. And I wrote this down. And I think y'all gonna appreciate this. So what this does is, the millionaire class, and I wrote this down, the millionaire class in America will 100% be monitoring this, because what this does is this is going to stress test the financial infrastructure of America. And the reason being is because if this dude starts to be able to do this unchallenged, right? This is not even about a like or dislike for Trump. This is about what's the word I want to use here? This is about democracy in America, right? It's about democracy in America. And if this dude starts to dethrone democracy, then you are looking at the changing of the tide. One of the things you really do have to look at is you got to look at how he puts distrust in the media. That's one of the ways where and again, you just got to be mindful of how you see it. So you think about this. He said something one day about Jerome Powell. He said, I don't know why Joe Biden didn't fire Jerome Powell. Bro, you hired him. You hired him. How Joe Biden gonna fire the Fed and you hired him? So you like, I don't know why the previous regime didn't fire him. Because you don't fire the Fed. You let them spend their time and you pick somebody else afterwards, right? And he say stuff like that. And he consistently, and for me, again, it's not even much about like a dislike. It's about just seeing what's in front of me. Like he consistently says one thing and then says something else and it's on TV. Like I think he said something before, like, we shouldn't be signing all these executive orders. He said that when he was chasing Barack, right? And then here you are, you've signed over 400 and something executive orders. So I think what happens is there's a distrust that And the crazy thing is, as American people, you sit back and you be like, bro, this is crazy, but it's really not crazy. It's really, and if you notice, one of the things he does a lot is he bashes the media a lot. Now think about this. He bashes the media a lot to do what? Put everything else on what? Truth Media. Why is the name of his media company called Truth Media? Because that's a way of undermining. Now, we all know that the media is a bunch of BS, right? We know that. I'm not even saying that ain't it, because we look at the way the media portrays black people. We look at the way the media downgrades the stuff that we do. We look at the way that media, even the media, what the media do sometimes is the media will portray something just so that people can be unrested about something. But to have your media called Truth Media, and then you put a bunch of lies on it, is 100%. Somebody say, bro, Trump or Barack didn't do anything for the black community. I don't think that was ever a argument. I don't know, but I think y'all just be coming up with stuff in y'all head. But what I'm saying to us is, it's an intentional undermining of the media. And I would say this, a lot of times the media is BS, right? And so, but what happens is the media is how we get stuff, which is why I really pay attention to it anyway. But the open, like consistent jabbing at the media is the way that you get people to not even much, you know what I'm saying? So what happens is, him firing her adds to more of the web, and I personally feel like we got so much other stuff that we could be worried about, to where, but what will happen is when he's fired her and then he puts another person in that position that becomes a loyalist to him, that then allows our federal situation, which is supposed to be independent, more able to move in the way in which he wanted to move. And that should never be the case. That's the way that I think Argentina may be that way. Turkey is that way. And America's supposed to be a diplomatic place. Now, we all know that democracy it's a laughing joke in America, but he's haven't even been in office a year. So just know you got another 3 to go. Let's go. Let's go a little further.
Good afternoon, Trap. It's Horace Moore calling from Tampa Bay area. Just want to ask you if you could do a deeper dive into theta. You discussed it briefly a couple of weeks ago as to how it eats at your profits in the last 30 to 45 days. But if you could just give us a little bit deeper explanation as to what theta is and how it affects your ability to make gains in the last 45 to 30 days, I would appreciate it. And also want to give a shout out to the straw that stirs the drink, Jose. He always does a good job of getting me in when I make a call, so I appreciate it. All right, peace.
So that's a great question. So think about it like this, right? So options don't decay like in the moment. They bleed slowly, especially if you have a longer expiration date. So in that 30 to 45 days, or especially that last week, then now what happens if you speed it up at which, and I like to use the same analogy of think about your expiration date as fire. Think about your expiration date as fire. Think about your option contract as a piece of ice. The closer your contract gets to the fire, the more it melts away. right? Now, typically, your data is telling you how fast your option will melt the closer it gets to the fire, which is why you want your options contract to always, you want to get your options contract to be profitable. Notice I said profitable, not in the money. Profitable. Why did I say profitable? Because you can buy your options contract already in the money, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean you are profitable. So you want your options contract to get profitable, meaning you see green. The minute your option contract starts to go up, you start seeing green. Now, what happens is when your price or when something affects the contract from being up or something affects the stock from being up, because you have time, for us in most cases, you still have enough time on your contract to get on top of the data. Oh, this is so good. But if you do a weekly contract or you do a daily contract, you've now shortened the distance between your options contract and the sun. You with me? So when you do a weekly contract, the daily contract, I think y'all out y'all mind with them daily contracts. But then what happens is you are now really, really close to the sun. So now you can't afford for this thing to do anything wrong, because if it does, the theta now eats you alive. So as a day trader, as somebody that's using short-term contracts, you got to be way more precise with your chart reading and way more precise with what you see, because if anything goes wrong, and you got to have your stops really, really close, because if anything goes wrong, you got to be willing to cut it because you don't have recovery time. So for us, because we do a lot of our plays 90 days out, you have them OTT. Them ODTs is one with the sun for sure. So for us, because we usually do like 90 days and 4 months out, we haven't escaped the sun. We're just giving ourselves a little more distance from the sun. And remember, your expiration date is the sun. Now, once you start getting 30 to 45 days closer to the sun, now you speed up the pace at which the sun comes to you. Does that make sense? Once you get 30 to 45 days close to the sun, now the sun starts to speed up. It starts to become more magnetic and you need more things to go right. Watch this. The stock could actually be up. Oh, I don't know why I'm about to do this. The stock could actually be up. But if you that close to the data and now your delta not right, you can still be negative. So you can be on top of your strike price, but because of where your stock is positioned at on your expiration date, you can actually still be negative. So let's say you had like I'll give you a prime example. I want to say my Eli Lilly contract, no, it's at 780. I want to say my Costco contract. Let me look right quick. Ashan, right quick, tell me how much Costco is. Come on, thing. How much Costco is right now?
Checking it now, it's 941.
941. All right, watch this. Well, that ain't bad. All right. Well, that ain't bad. I thought it was above that. I was going to use it as an example. How much Eli Lilly is right now? All right. I'll give you an example. Here's an example. On time. Watch this. Spotify right now is how much? $700, right?
Yep, it says $696.
Six what?
$696.
Spotify right now is $692, $696. I had a $650 call, but we had this call this was the first time I was in the Spotify play. Now, I done ate off the play so many times. The one play, it was up big, and I think I only got 4 contracts left in it. But guess what? The play expires in October. It's down $1,000. But I had a $650 strike price. But at the time, I had 20 contracts. I only got 4 now. But now it's negative because now the theta is so close to my expiration date, and then my delta has now changed. Now I actually need Spotify to probably go to 700 before I even get even on it again from where it's at. But I already took profit on it before. Right? But if it was an old contract, what happened was it done went negative, and now I need more stuff to happen for it to become positive again. Am I making sense right here? Am I making sense? So the delta and the data are the 2 things that I pay attention to. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have nothing against nobody else. But the reason why those are the only 2 things I pay attention to is because delta tell me how much money I make as my options move, and theta tell me how much my options is gonna decay as the closer I get to my expiration date. I hope I helped you out, brother. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I'm gonna just say something, man, and I'm gonna just be honest with y'all, man. I wanna truly thank everybody that came out to stock market in the streets, man. It was such a last minute situation. You know me, it was a last minute situation, and I just want to tell all my people that came out, man, thank y'all for coming out, man. Y'all just don't be like, I don't know if I don't give my people enough credit. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I be underestimating my people or what. But, you know, for my people to, you know, they was at a paid event this weekend. You know what I'm saying? So for my people, you know, for our tribe to leave a paid event and say, hey, you know what? I'm coming holler. And then we had a night turnover, like $250.
About $250 and in the rain.
$250 and in the rain. Off of 2 days notice, 3 days notice.
Yeah. And it was sideways rain, little.
Sideways rain. So I definitely want to just shout my people out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love y'all so much. I gotta shout your girl out. First shout the team out.
Yes.
Shout the team out.
Salute.
But I gotta shout your girl out, man.
Yeah.
I just was like, Ash, I want to hit the street.
Mm-hmm.
She said, when? I said, Saturday. She said, say less.
Everybody's asking me questions. I say, if you don't hit my boss up and stop playing with me, hit her up. I don't know.
I was like, Saturday. She was like, where you want to be at? I'm like, I said, I want to be on the bluff.
Yeah.
I want to be in the hood.
Yeah.
I should have shout Rollo out. Where you at, dog? Come pull up on me, girl. But that was good. That was amazing. So I just want to tell my people, our trappers, man. I just want to tell y'all, man, that was just phenomenal, man.
We got the video.
We got a clip?
Yeah, we
Come
got
on,
the clip.
surprise me with a clip then. I didn't know. I'm about to get to work.
Let's get it.
All right, let's go. Let's show us a clip then.
Yeah. I've been dreaming about the trap life.
It's been great, you know, he pushing the culture forward, and I really appreciate what he's doing. We just really trying to add it a stock at a time, like you say, and just get that knowledge. You know, I've seen a lot of trappers today.
Came up from the trenches, now the whole block winning. Cuban links, heavy rich.
Appreciate the team, appreciate trapping everybody. Man, we changed the generations, man. They changed the generations more importantly because they introduced me to the stock market. Changed my way of how I view money, changed my whole mindset.
Bag stayed duffel.
Every candle represents the DNA of that company. To trade a company, you have to put it on a certain type of time frame.
trap dreams.
And I've been interested in seeking more knowledge about investments and understanding the stock market.
And just trying to create general wealth, man, in every avenue, business, stocks. Just got a love for it, man. He introduced everything for me on the mental side. But I'm trying to change your life, man. I got a 9-month-old, so that's the goal.
But I'm here today to support Trap. Trap changed my life. The Options Masterclass was a strategy that helped me become more successful. So I'm here to support Trap in every way.
See a couple of insight on what he do, and
just sitting back and listening. And today I'm hoping that I can learn about some options so I can get into options. I haven't done option trading yet, but I definitely want to follow Trap's lead and get into some option trading for sure.
They ain't believe, now they watching from the sidelines. Told them keep hating, I'ma make this money multiply.
Oh man, that was good.
Tell them keep hating, we gonna make this
that was
money
good,
multiply.
Bro. That was good, bro. That was heartfelt, man. Again, to load up symbolically, putting us in front of that. So yeah, man, be ready. Stock market in the street, man. We back outside. I'm gonna tell you something too, Jose, before we get into the show. Man, I feel like I've been so into this building.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what bring me joy.
Mm.
The building keeps me going because I can't wait till people. What keeps me going is like, yo, when they get where I needed to go at, my people gonna be in here.
Yeah.
Right? That's what keep me going. Like, yo, how you feel? I feel good, right? Cause, bro, like when I get this going, like my people got a place to call home. But bro, being like there, I'm like, I miss this.
Got to touch the people,
I
got
miss
to
this.
hug some necks,
I
shake
miss
some
this.
hands.
We had just did the thing talking about getting off the platform.
Yep.
Right?
Ooh, yeah.
I just did the speaking about getting off the platform, bro. And just I was high for 2 days, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk, I was high.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, that's, one of the things we don't have it, and we're gonna get to the show, that's, we gotta get to it, but like one of the things that really was the part on the show, I'm gonna start standing up. I like standing up. So the part of the show where, the part when we was outside, when we was talking to the guy, when we was talking about the candlesticks, and I said, if it does this, and he said, it goes down, and I said, nope. And I said, we not moving on till he get it.
Right. Yep.
We not moving on till he get it. And then I said, okay, let's break it down again. And then just in the moment in my head, I'm like, what do I gotta say to make him get it? Right? Like in my head in that moment, like what do I gotta say how do I design it on this board to make him get it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so we draw it out on a board, and then we said something, then he started rolling with me. Then when I said, what happens if it's at 66, if it's at 69, and it goes back up to, he said, you get a wick. I said, that's it.
Gotta get that one. Sometimes we gotta leave the 99, but the 99 straight.
I said, that's it.
Gotta get the one.
And I think that right there is that was the moment that made me say, yeah, we gotta get back outside. We like being outside. That's what we like being. I like being outside. And it clicked for me in real time. And I think that's the thing that excites me about this game is when you can mix the look on somebody's face when they get the concept in real time. Like even when we on here, we talking, even when I'm in the Patreon and we talking and we doing stuff, that's cool. Cause I can't see you get it in real time. In the street, I get to see you get it in real time. And that just does it for me, man. So, all right, so this was really good right here. Atlanta's Wealth Divide. A new report from the Atlanta Wealth Building Initiative reveals a staggering revenue gap between Black-owned businesses and others in the region. The median revenue for a Black-owned business is just $129,683, compared to $737,000 for non-Black small businesses, a nearly six-fold difference. This disparity highlights deep-rooted systemic barriers, limited access to capital, fewer networking opportunities, and unequal market visibility. All right, so before we go further, I want to say something that I think is really important. I really think we need to sit on, and I wrote this down. It's something I think we need to. There will always be an inequality in the economy of America for Black people. Right? Always. I think we do ourselves, and man, it's just me. I think we do ourselves an injustice when we consistently oh, this about to be.
Let them cook.
All right. I think that we do ourselves an injustice when, let me say it this way. We were never truly given the playbook on how to succeed in a capitalistic society. We were never given that blueprint. We were never given that playbook. But yet and still, some way, somehow, we still ended up with a Black Wall Street. We still ended up with a Durham, North Carolina. Every week we show Certified Trapper of the Week, somebody that became a millionaire, the first millionaire in Atlanta, the first millionaire to do this, the first stock, Reginald Lewis, and all these people that had it. So it's not what we cannot do. I also want you to understand this. There is so much power in Black economics. There's so much power in Black people understanding the power of money. That's why I talked about leveraging money earlier. There's so much power in Black people learning how to invest in the stock market. So no, I'm not anti-white. I'm not anti-anything, but I am pro-hyper-Black. I love Black people. I love Black economics. I love seeing Black people get money. And the reason why, because every time they tell you, pull up your bootstraps and get it out the mud, you got to tell them, I'm the one that planted the seeds in the ground in the mud to build this thing from jump. So I want you to stop thinking that you are not capable. So when I see things like this, I say, this is interesting to look at. But when we look at this stat, a stat like this make more people mad than it make people excited. I'm gonna tell you why. Because you'll look at this and say, yep, the average Black-owned business is just 129,683 compared to 730,000 of non-Black small businesses. But yeah, I just saw a man get on the internet the other day and make 100 million in 3 days. So I'm gonna say something to us. I think one of the things that we need to do, and I'm gonna be real with you, we talk about group economics, I'm not mad at it. We talk about unification, I'm not mad at it. But before you can do any of that, bro, you gotta run your own race. You gotta run your own race. And here's why I say we gotta run our own race. I'm not saying we got to do it individually, but if you get a group of people and nobody knows how to do business, if you get a group of people that don't know how to do business, then that means that business venture is going to be disastrous. That business venture is going to be disastrous. We got to heal the financial trauma first. So one of the things I love, and I like looking at that. So here's the thing. We did a whole lot with a little. I said this at Trap. I said this on the other day. I said, when we was doing stock market in the streets, I said, once we learn the power of money, once we learn how to use money, we change the dynamic of our family. But here's the most important part to that, y'all, that I really love, that I really kind of get excited about. I'm not saying that there isn't different barriers and different loopholes that we got to jump over to be successful. We know it. But at some point, we got to say, that's not a crutch for me not to do something. Because every week we get on this show and we see people who overcame so many things. We are the generation that has access to more information than any other generation, but yet we got more distraction, which means the opportunity for us to make money is there. We just don't know how to stop being distracted. And so another thing that happens is what we do really bad in our culture, in our community is, and it don't matter if you like me, if you don't like me, but what we really do is in our culture, in our community is we start getting mad at the people that made it out. And we start feeling like the people that made it out owe us something. But I will say this, and I think this is for sure. If you make it out of the hood to be successful, I personally feel like you have some type of obligatory duty to help some people out your hood become successful. And your hood don't always have to mean your hometown. Your hood can mean somebody that look like you, talk like you, walk like you, sound like you. You have an obligatory duty to reach back and help somebody that look like you, walk like you, talk like you, and came from where you came from. You have an obligatory duty to help them because each one teach one. And the reason why that's important is I learned this during the pandemic, and it wasn't until the pandemic that this really made sense to me. I remember me and my guy Pocket used to be really, really cool. Hood Estates, we used to be really, 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 really cool. And I will always say this, bro, I learned so much from that dude, him and his wife, bro. They taught me so much, so I always wish them well. But I remember when I was rocking with them and they stayed in, they used to get these mansions in Orlando. It's called Magic City Vacation, Magic Kingdom Vacation, something like that. It was the first time I ever stayed in a mansion. And I remember for the pandemic, Pocky stayed in Magic, in that Orlando thing, he stayed there for 18 months. I say, bro, how the hell you stay here for 18 months? And I remember us staying in these 14, 15 bedroom houses. And I remember when we used to go to these houses, you had to get these houses for 7 to 10 days at a time. Watch this, bro. The Jewish community was renting out 70% of the houses. And so what we would see when we used to be sitting outside, me used to be talking business all the time, what we used to see is them going from house to house, just walking and talking. And I said, Pac, what they doing? He said they separated themselves. He said they separated themselves. I said, what? He said, yeah, they separated themselves. And I remember this dude told me this in prison. Prison is you learn so much in prison. But this dude told me this in prison. He said, you cannot go in a Jewish community and open up no type of soul food restaurant. You cannot go in an Asian or a Mexican community and open up a soul food restaurant. You cannot go in the Arab community and open up a fried chicken restaurant. But yet, a Jew can come in a black community, a Chinese can come in a black community, an Asian, a Mexican, anybody can come in a black community and open up any kind of store. And the reason being is because we don't stand for nothing. We hate everybody but ourselves. We ain't never ran the Jews out. We ain't never ran nobody else out of our community but us. And when he told me that, bro, I sat and looked at him and I said, my God. I said, what? He said, bro, we ain't never ran nobody out of our community but us. We only run us out the community. And bro, that just made me think. I was just like, wait a minute. And so, you hear it, you like, man, that's crazy. Like, it's powerful. So when I see stuff like this, it ain't that the money ain't there. You know why we know the money there? Because America is a consumer-based economy. But you know what we gotta do? One, we gotta learn how to do business. That's number one. Number two, we gotta learn how to play the money game. You know why I love the stock market, bro? I'm not gonna lie to you. It's free money. Bro, I promise you. I don't love it because, oh yeah, I'm playing the white folks game. Bro, I love it because it's free money. That's why I love it. And there's nothing in this life that you don't gotta have risk. You gotta add risk to. But guess what, bro? I don't gotta pay nobody their money back in the stock market, bro. I don't gotta pay nobody their money back. I don't gotta get funded. I don't gotta get a loan. I don't gotta have a credit score. I can have back taxes. I can have a record. I can come from a single family. My mama could be an addict. My daddy could have been an addict. My daddy ain't had to be there. I could come from a family of criminals. Got convicted of whatever 17 times. I can be on death row. I can be whatever I don't owe nobody. All I gotta be willing to do is sit down, look at that chart, understand how to navigate my emotions, and be all right. And if I can watch this, it ain't even much about me losing. If I can win more than I lose, I'm all right. And guess what? If I learn a game, if I stay in the game enough to get past the learning curve, it's a good chance that I'm going to make more money than I lose. So that tells me this is free money. So that's why I ain't never going to go get funded. I'm not going to never go tell nobody fund my business. You know why? They got a machine that print trillions of dollars every day. I just got to be patient enough to say, hey, this how much I need from the machine? Bet. Let me learn a skill. I'm going to go print it. I'm just keeping it real. The money is in the market. Our problem is because, watch me here. Watch me here. Watch me here. We keep comparing what we doing to what they doing. We keep saying the average median business is 129,668 compared to 737. And the first thing we see a stat like that, you know what that made me say? Man, it ain't fair out here. It ain't right out here. You know what also ain't fair? You ain't learn how to hire. You ain't learn how to fire. You don't learn business structure. You don't learn how to protect yourself in business. You don't learn none of that. Bro, I done spent so much money this year just on learning about this business. Leaderships, workshops, revenue workshops, operation workshops. I got another one I gotta go to next month. I got another one I gotta go to next week. Trap, why you keep doing that? Cause, bro, I really, in my mind, know we can grow a business. So I don't let stats like this throw me off. But I'm telling us, man, and it's just real talk, y'all. Yes, they do have things in place that alter what we can do, but that ain't supposed to stop us. It's supposed to encourage us. Think about how far you came without knowing the blueprint. Bro, think about this. I'm just about to keep it on. I'm gonna keep it so real. Watch this, y'all. I'm gonna just keep it real. And I hate when I say this because people be like, man, you hating, try that. Bro, telling people to increase their prices ain't business. It's price gouging. That ain't scaling. Just because you increase your I increase my prices. That's price gouging. Because if you don't got the value inside of the price, then you gouging. You gotta, and I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Business is something you learn all the while you in business. You never stop learning. You think Mark Zuckerberg and them ain't losing a whole bunch of money? Guess what? The losses prepare them to have wins. You don't think Jensen Huang ain't losing money on stuff? Go look at that research and development, how much they spend on research. You know what research and development mean? Losing money to figure out a product that works. That's what research and development is. Losing money on the products that I thought was gonna work until I get one that worked. That's research and development. All right, go a little further, my bad. Right here. I said that to come right back to this. Black wealth is increasing. For every 36 black adults in America you meet, it's a good chance that 2 of them have increased their net worth by at least $1 million, according to 2025 data. Estimates that there's about 48 million black people in America, with 27% of them being of the age of 18. That means about 5.5% of black people in America have a net worth of $1 million. That means it's possible. That means it's possible. I don't care if the number is higher in white America. I don't care if the number is higher. I don't care about that. You know what I care about? 5% of us is millionaires. You know what that also means? That number increased because maybe 10 years ago, it was 1%. I need you to understand that. So there's a group of us that's going to complain and settle for where they at. And then there's a group of us that's going to keep on fighting because we know the 5.5% of us that got a net worth of $1 million or more, that's the goal we going after. You can look at it one of two ways. Oh man, it's only 5%. The game ain't never been equal. The game ain't never been fair. There's no way you can buy into the idea that you stupid as a black person. There's no way you can buy into the idea that you lazy as a black person when they went and got you from Africa to bring you over here to fertilize land that they didn't know how to fertilize. You were farming geniuses. You was in Africa with good soil and you had bad soil. You produced. The Nile was once considered the bread basket of America. Africa is considered the bread basket. People ain't go away to Africa because they ain't like you. They went because you was intelligent. Ain't no way somebody gonna leave Spain and go Portugal, go to Africa to bring you to Spain because you don't know what you're doing. Nobody don't want nobody that's lazy around them. Nobody don't want nobody that ain't smart doing what, you know why? They ain't got you because you genius. But watch this. If I can make you think you ain't a genius, if I can make you think you ain't worthy of it, and if I can keep putting that in your brain to make you see the game different, to make you see yourself different, if I can keep putting stats in front of you that make you think something ain't possible, eventually you start believing the stats and not believing who you are. Eventually you start saying the numbers mean more than what God put in me. Eventually you start saying, well, what they saying must be true. So if a country has 400 years of free labor, and that means they had another 400 years to tell you who you are, then of course, if you don't look outside the numbers, you're going to believe it. There's always been war. There's always been poverty. There's always been racism in America. It's what it's built on. And guess who's been at the center of all of them? Me and you. There's always been a war on black people. We've always lead the thing in poverty, and we're always the victim of racism. Guess what? It ain't gonna stop. It's built into the genetics, and it's built into the thread of America. But guess what you gotta do? You gotta be willing to say, I'm not gonna let war, I'm not gonna let poverty, and I'm not gonna let racism stop me from being part of that 5%. And when you become part of the 5%, guess what? You now bring it to 6%. And when you teach somebody else, guess what happens? It becomes 7%. And at some point along the journey, you can sit back in your coffin when it's time for you to go and say, guess what? I moved the number. I'm the one that took it from 5.5 to 5.6. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm the one that took it from 5.6 to 5.7. I did what we were supposed to do. I'm the one that helped my family turn our last name into an asset. I did what we were supposed to do. I'm the first millionaire in my family. I did what I was supposed to do. I made owning real estate good. I did what we were supposed to do. I'm the first one to have $1 million life insurance policy. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm the first one that owned a home in my family. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm the first one bought an apartment complex in my family. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm the first one put the trust fund together in my family. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm the first one that went to college and got a PhD or whatever that is, and then I did what I was supposed to do. I'm the first one that had a $1 million revenue business. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm the first one that opened up a custodial account for my kid. I did what I was supposed to do. You doing what you're supposed to do. You put your family in position to be an asset, not a liability. You did what you were supposed to do. You moved the needle. Don't worry about the numbers. Worry about the numbers that you see on your screen. Stop scoreboard watching. Stop scoreboard watching. because they got enough people we see. You got to be the spook that sat by the door. You got to be the spook that sat by the door. You got to be the one to go to Tony Robbins. You got to be the one to go to Grant Cardone. You got to be the one that go to Alex Hormozy. You got to be the one to go to all the other ones and say, hey, let me get all that information. Hey, y'all, I got it. And you got to not care what nobody else say. You got to be the one that say, hey, he did 100 million in 3 days. Let me go. Hey, he worth 600 million. Hey, he the one that did. He the one that, hey, 600, and bring it to your family and do it. You got to be the one to do it. You got to be the spook that sat by the door. You can't keep, every time I go in the room, bro, I promise you, it'll only be like 5 or 6 of us, but guess what? I'll be like, bet. 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 I don't care. I don't care. Because once you make it out, I want you to understand that you have an obligatory duty to reach back and help somebody. Because that's all they've been doing. That's all other racial groups do. And I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm not saying we don't do it. Because we all help somebody in our own way. It's time, y'all. We got more information. We got more access to knowledge than any of the ancestors that came before us. We also just got more distractions. Some of us can't even work a straight hour without picking up the phone. I challenge you moving forward. If you're watching this show, I challenge you from this day moving forward. If you trying to learn entrepreneurship, you spend 1 hour reading a book on entrepreneurship without looking at your phone. I challenge you, if you somebody that's trying to trade and learn about charts, you spend 1 hour reading charts without looking at your phone. If you somebody trying to learn about fundamental investing, I challenge you moving forward to spend 1 hour on looking at fundamental investing without reading anything else. Lock it up, put it on the side. I challenge you to do that and watch how hard it is for you to do it. You know why? Because they programmed you to be distracted. Bing! You hit the phone, you gotta, whatever that note, or then your mind starts saying, hey, I gotta do something. You don't know how to do deep work. I challenge you, moving forward, 1 hour a day, focus on one thing. Whatever you say you want to do. You want to do real estate? Read one hour a day. 1 hour. 1 hour. Watch how hard it be for you for 2 days. Because watch this. If you do it for 2 days in a row for 1 hour, you starting to reprogram your brain. You start to reprogram your brain. It becomes that harder to be distracted. It becomes that harder to fall off. It becomes that harder. And then you're going to go from 1 hour saying, you know what? I done reclaimed 1 hour of my time. Let me take another hour to do something. And you're going to start realizing, damn, I really get most stuff done. Damn, in 1 hour, I read all this. Damn, in 1 hour, I learned all this. Damn, and so Trap, I don't got time. Yes, you do. You got time. Put that phone on Do Not Disturb. Put that phone, matter of fact, go put it in another room. Put the watch on, get you a little cheap watch, put it on side the bed, put it on, go with it. Don't even use the phone as what you're looking at the time. Because you know what we start doing? I'm going to just use the phone and watch the time. I'm going to just use the phone. No. When somebody might come, put the phone in the other room and go get you a cheap watch, put the watch on the counter and put the time on. I got 1 hour to do it. That's how you change the game. I challenge everybody that's watching this from now to the end of the year, own 1 hour of your day on learning something. 1 hour a day, no distractions, no sidebars, no excuses. 1 hour a day. Now I'm going to go even harder for you. What if you take that 1 hour a day, you got to get up 1 hour earlier to do it? Because that's what I do now. I get up at 5 o'clock, 5:30. That first hour of the day is all about God. I can't do nothing else. I don't want to look at nothing. I don't want to see nothing. Then I take another hour of my day and just read. So I take 2 hours out of my day to read, whether it's God in the morning, something else in the evening, whether it's charting, whether it's business, whether it's stocks. That's what I'm on. Let's close out, man. Episode 157, man. How y'all feeling, man? Look, man, listen, I know we had a great show today. I just want y'all to know, man, I love y'all. Man, I appreciate y'all, right? I want y'all to understand that. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I know for a fact that this is gonna be a year of change for y'all. I speak that into existence to everybody that's watching. This is gonna be a year of change for you. This year thing's gonna turn around because you're gonna get more focused. You're gonna get more dedicated. You're gonna get more locked in. And I know it. You starting at 1 hour right now, you do it for a month, you're gonna be at 3 hours. Because you're gonna realize the real freedom was in taking control of your time and doing the things you wanted to do. I love y'all. Man, come join the Patreon. We getting busy. You know, I ain't made a trade in a week. I just been watching this week. We definitely want to pay attention to, KT, what's happening, family? KT had the 2 glizzies on him this week. Oh, KT, we sending you a pack out today. All right, man, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all, man. Come join the Patreon. Trappers Anonymous, I love y'all. Come join the trap. Get your merch 50% off, no code needed. Hey, I've been getting, listen, y'all been helping me make sure George been working. He hit me up, he said, my heart. I say, your heart? I'm working, dog. I say, yeah, they got him. They got him. So order some more, man. 50% off on all the apparel, no code needed. Come join the Patreon, man. Come join Trappers Anonymous, man. Whatever it is, man. I love y'all. Do me a favor, man. Send this out to somebody. We've been putting a lot of content on the Wall Street Trapper page, man. I love you. I appreciate y'all. Good night. I'll see y'all next week.